YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy True Thought. Hopefully everybody is staying safe in this COVID-19 environment, doing what you gotta do, wearing your mask when appropriate, socially distancing when it's appropriate, all those kinds of things. I wanted to make an update on BCT, Army BCT, change that's going on. This isn't breaking news. The Army's put this out probably 2 or 3 months ago, but I haven't covered it yet on my video. And I know some people come to this this channel to get some information, so I just want to make sure I included it as part of the collection. And so the change it's kind of a major change in the sense that most of us who have joined the Army within the last 55 years have become accustomed to or have fond memories of the shark attack. And so the shark attack obviously is when you report to BCT and your drill sergeants meet you maybe 5, 6, 7 at a time. And you have drill sergeants on both sides in your face, behind you, just yelling all kinds of commands, and whether it's moving or doing push-ups or picking up your bag or dropping your bag, whatever it is, just competing orders all at the same time, really built to kind of overwhelm you and to essentially move you into a position of submission and establishing the authority of the drill sergeant over you. And so that's been pretty much a constant within the Army for, like I said, for the last 55 years. That's coming to an end. And so it's being replaced now by what's called the first 100 yards. Now, mind you, this information that I'm giving you is really based on its implementation in Fort Benning, Georgia, which is the infantry training station. However, I do know that the first 100 yards is being implemented across the Army. So I'm not sure if it's arrived at every single basic training site yet, but I do know it's on the way. So just kind of do an overview. If you see me looking over to the side, it's because I had to take some notes, because I want to make sure I give you guys an accurate report of what to expect. So that way I'm not misquoting anybody or anything like that. So the first thing is that the first 100 yards is going to first take place at reception. For those of you who are familiar with reception or may not be familiar with reception, reception is typically where you're doing, before you actually go to basic training, it's where you report, where you're received, and where you do all of your administrative stuff. So, whether it's pay, whether it's shots, you get issued your equipment, your uniform, everything that you're going to need for basic training, essentially is issued to you and done in reception. Reception can be anywhere from as short as 2 or 3 days to as long as I've heard, a week and a half for some people. It all depends. It really does suck typically, because essentially it's a hurry up and wait process every single day, starting very early in the morning, ending later in the evening, and it can be pretty mind-numbing, but it's a necessary part of basic training and becoming a soldier. So typically in reception, when I joined, we had what we called the Blue Book, which essentially was a book of information stretching from Army history to rankings and all those kinds of things, how to greet officers, and everything, just all kinds of lexicon that you're going to need for your Army career. You had to read it all day, every day, and be able to answer some questions if the drill sergeant decided to ask you some questions. So that's being replaced, and you're going to have your first 100 yards taking place then. And essentially what that looks like is you are going to be given information about your training unit. So for me, I went to Delta 161. I forgot the battalion name now, but Delta 161 was our company name. And I can't remember our battalion. But you're going to be given information on your training battalion as well as your training company, and it has to do with the history, has to do with the chain of command, it has to do with the motto. So you have to learn that stuff. And drill sergeants throughout your time of reception are going to be quizzing you on it. If you get it wrong, you'll get what they call corrective action. Now, Again, when I went through basic training, corrective action essentially just meant, getting smoked. So push-ups, sit-ups, whatever kind of exercises the drill sergeants deemed appropriate, and however they deemed it to be appropriate. That's what the corrective action is. I'm pretty sure that it's going to be the same way, but I'm not really sure with some of the changes. I do know that the purpose of the first 100 yards is to get away from the fear and dominance that drill sergeants have in the minds of the trainees. I don't mean that in the sense that trainees aren't to respect the drill sergeants moving forward, or that drill sergeants won't instill a level of fear, but it seems as though leadership doesn't want that to be the trainee's introduction to the drill sergeant. So what they want is they want the trainee to be introduced to confidence, belief in him or herself, belief in the team that they're on, and also belief within the leadership, confidence in the leadership that they will be subjected to. So it just seems like there's kind of a pivot from the purpose of the shark attack to the purpose of the first 100 yards. So that's kind of why they're implementing this. In a COVID-19 environment, I mean, it does make sense to not have drill sergeants just, yelling and screaming in the faces of trainees that they haven't seen before. However, this has probably been in the works for some time, and COVID-19 just kind of helped fast forward it. Moving on to the next thing. Once you get to your BCT site, you will be meeting your drill sergeants. However, once you meet them, you're going to be split up into platoons. And those platoons will be given a resupply mission, which essentially, from what I've read, is essentially just kind of making sure that everyone has the MREs that they need to have for that particular training. It has to be successfully done as a team, and then from that point, the platoons will move to the new ACFT, the Army Combat Fitness Test, which is just been implemented in October. You won't do all of the events. From what it looks like you'll only be doing 3 of the events. So the push-ups, the leg tuck, and then there's one more that I can't remember right now. But it's just 3 of the events from the ACFT, just to see where everyone is. There is a score that you have to max. If your platoon does not max that score, then the literature says that you'll receive corrective action, which again probably means some kind of exercise to build the strength of your platoon. I suspect that everybody's going to have to go through that, because a lot of people come to basic training not being physically prepared. The third thing that will happen afterwards is that the drill sergeants will quiz the trainees on the information that they learned in reception. Any wrong answers will receive corrective action, whatever the drill sergeant deems is appropriate for that. So they're putting a premium on knowing the information of your training battalion and company, which I think can be good, because the history is important, but hopefully they spend a lot of time on Army history, because that's really what you're going to take away with you. The last thing is that you're going to have an infantry squad. It's like an infantry demonstration squad. Just come full battle rattle with the full kit. Just kind of show you movements and things of that nature as they go through. The article says smoke and pyrotechnics, so I'm assuming it's just supposed to be something that amps you up, that kind of gets you motivated to not give up in the process once you start, so that you can kind of see what you could be moving on in the future. And then lastly, the drill sergeants are going to march the trainees to their training bays to do essentially it's 2 weeks in isolated training. So I'm assuming that the drill sergeants will just be with you for 2 weeks in that bay while you do your 2 week quarantine from everyone else, so that way they can make sure that no one has COVID-19. And so again, whether it's good or bad is probably, it's too early to tell. There are going to be a lot of people who have dissenting opinions, simply because things are changing and people don't like change. But for me, we have to wait and see. So we'll see what the results are. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys later.